Hey guys, Sun here. So yeah, I recently had a problem with my MacBook Pro mid 2015. The battery started inflating, and yeah, when it was on a table, it was kind of rocky and stuff. So I had to bring it back to the Apple Store, and thankfully they changed the battery. That being said, in the meantime, I was left without a computer, and I cannot live without a computer. So I went ahead and bought this little MacBook Air. And why a MacBook Air when I had a MacBook Pro? Well, I'm really not a big fan of the touch bar. So Pro models have this little thing here where this is kind of like an additional screen, like a tiny iPad on the keyboard kind of thing. So I'm a developer and kind of like a tinker. I honestly don't like how new Apple devices have become toys. I love having an escape key and I like the tactile feedback of a normal keyboard. So anyways, so that's why I ended up choosing the MacBook Air. I was kind of hoping that this would be as powerful as this 4.5-year-old computer in a tiny form factor, which would have been like super amazing. But it's not. It's actually not, like maybe half as fast as this. I won't demo this because I have to bring this back to the Apple Store like right now, but this computer plugged onto this 27-inch 4K monitor in Firefox, playing YouTube in 4K, that won't do it. 2019 MacBook Air will not play 4K on this monitor without incredible lags. So yeah, so new computers are not necessarily faster than old ones. Obviously, this is kind of like a higher end model, but I totally, absolutely love it. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, now, so why do I love older Macs so much? First of all, well, the keyboard. So I absolutely love the keyboard. I hate the touch bar. Maybe if I would use it, it would get all romantic on me. But the truth is, honestly, I don't need a screen. I want keyboards that I can touch, okay? Now, the other thing is, if you're a hacker, or, I mean, not the evil hacker kind of stuff, just someone who likes to have control over their hardware and who likes to find solutions to problems. And if you're into privacy and security, this computer is not for you. Okay, why? Well, the T2 chip that's inside of this prevents you from installing operating systems such as Linux. You can boot them off a USB stick and that works, but you have to know that this trackpad and keyboard, at least were not compatible in with wow, sorry about that. Woo! I've been coding all day, so this might be kind of awkward. So yeah, I booted this guy here on Tails, and the keyboard and the trackpad would not work. I did the same on gparted, and not only did this and that not work, but gparted and most Linux distros, if not all of them, cannot detect the SSD controller that this computer has because of the T2 chip. The T2 chip acts as the SSD controller. So, I mean, you won't be able to install alternative operating systems, and you won't be able to run without serious hacks most Linux distros. So that's a huge pain. Now, if all of this is not enough, I have more. So yeah, you cannot, well, yeah, okay, I'll start with this. 2 ports here. 2 ports. Come on, if you want to connect stuff, all of your old gear, I mean, I have an Apogee Duet sound card that I absolutely love. I have a screen with a USB hub. All of this stuff it won't work. You'll have to buy little dongles. So, I mean, at least this guy here is kind of cool. So that's a little USB to USB-C adapter. So that works. I also bought, yeah, let me get this for you guys. 2 seconds. I also bought this. So I bought the Thunderbolt Station 3 Plus from CalDigit, and it's an amazing product in the sense that it's beautifully engineered, and this little box will power your MacBook Air it will, it will enable you to have all of the ports that you lost, including the SD card reader, which is great because when you do some Raspberry Pi projects and you need to flash an SD card, well, you can, or when you have a camera like this Sony a6500, well, you can actually just plug it in. So this is amazing. But I have to share with you guys that when you plug an external hard drive into this, such as a Samsung T5, so a super fast hard drive, you won't be able to get to full speeds of this hard drive when you're going through this docking station. So that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, so moving on. The other thing as a hacker / security researcher that I don't like of this computer is, and I think this is true also for all 2018 computers and up, you cannot spoof your MAC address. So for you guys listening who are not as nerdy as I am or as freak about security as I am, your MAC address is the unique identifier of the network card in your computer. So when you take your computer and you go to Starbucks and you plug it in, well, when you plug it in, the Starbucks router sees, or I should have said access point, sees that unique identifier. So they can track how many times you go to Starbucks, how many times you connect to their network, and that's the same for all of Wi-Fi. So spoofing your MAC address simply means that you assign a randomly generated MAC address to your computer. So that gives you like a whole bunch more anonymity, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so with this 2015, you can absolutely spoof your Mac. I actually have a tutorial on my Medium page on how to do this, so I'll link it. Yeah, I'm trying to think about if there's any other things. Well, anyways, there might be other things, and I'll kind of like mix them in later. But to end this nicely, this has been a like long vlog where I'm just talking to you guys. So if you bought one of those computers and you're having regrets, Apple has a 14-day return policy, which is really amazing. Thanks, Apple. It allowed me to have a computer while this guy was broken. But one thing that you might want to know is like, how can you clear your information from this computer? So in the old days, spinning hard drives or platter hard drives, you could do what was called a secure erase on it. And the Mac OS hard drive utility, disk utility, had a feature for this. And you won't see it appear when you have an SSD hard drive because these older ways of secure erasing a hard drive doesn't work. They don't work on SSDs. The technical reasons for this is kind of like obscure. I'll try to keep it really simple, and I'm sorry if this is nerdy, but so when you erase a file from an SSD hard drive, it doesn't really erase it. It will essentially flag that sector as ready to be rewritten on. But in order to preserve the amount of read cycles of an SSD hard drive, it won't write the next little piece of information on that same sector. It will write it on one that has never been written on. So this will kind of cycle all the way through your hard drive, and it will make sure that you don't write too many times to a specific sector, because SSDs have lower lifespans than traditional hard drives, and that's one way that they optimize for that. So if you're just writing zeros to the whole hard drive, and that's kind of what older secure arrays were, what happens is you're just going to write, and it's just going to flag it as unusable, flag it as unusable, flag it. Essentially, no one knows if it's truly replacing all the sectors. So what people tend to recommend these days is essentially to encrypt your hard drive, and I absolutely hope you always encrypt FileVault before you start putting some of your personal stuff on those computers. Enable FileVault. Enable FileVault. Always enable FileVault, okay? So yeah, say your FileVault is enabled. How do you clear it? So there's multiple ways, but I would like you guys to be aware that the T2 chip holds the master keys to the encryption of FileVault on newer T2 chip equipped computers. So what you really would want to be able to do is clear the T2 chip, and thankfully there's a command that will do just that. So yeah, I'll demo it to you guys right now, because that's kind of like the end. So I'm not sure if you're going to see this, and if you don't, I'm so sorry. This is like a second vlog. So my password is ASD enter. So as you can see, I'm in. Now the first step is you want to reboot your computer into recovery mode, and this is quite easy. So I'm going to try to do this like this. Shut down. It's getting there. Hopefully this is, you can see this anyways. Okay, so you boot the computer and you hold Command R while it's booting, and hopefully this little key dance was done appropriately. You'll know because things are going to be much slower than usually, and you won't see your username, so I guess this worked. Yeah. So I might cut this when I'm editing, because I mean, that's a long video. Actually, let me see if it's still recording. Oh yeah. I hope this is gonna work, because it's like a 15-minute monologue when you think about it. Yeah. So this is booting. I'll drop it here if you're okay with it, because it's taking a bit of time. And also the command is written here. So yeah, I have a markdown file, just like a text file, with a whole bunch of how-tos that I've been, writing and dropping there for the past few years. I think this vlog will be about me sharing some of those how-tos with you, and it's going to help you be kind of like a better person on your computer. Okay, so this now is in recovery mode. Now what you want to do is open Utilities and open Terminal. Now it will ask you to essentially unlock your computer. So ASD, enter. Now you need to run a command that I don't remember by heart, so I'll go and type it over there. I'll be right back. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. It's xartutil erase all. And then if I type enter, it says, are you sure you want to erase all entries? And that is super obscure. Which entries are you deleting? I saw some things on the internet recommending this if you've reached a limit of how many fingerprints you can record. And now it doesn't mention that doing this will break all of FileVault and you'll lose access to your files forever. So maybe I'll go and update some of those topics. So yes, I do want. Thank you very much. And it's done, right? So now if I reboot, in theory, I shouldn't be able to log in anymore. Everything's going to look perfectly normal as before, but when I try to enter my password, it's not going to do anything. And I mean, that's a good sign. That means that whatever information was encrypted using a master key that's in the T2 chip will never be accessible by anyone unless the encryption algorithm is cracked, but that should take a few years. Okay, so ASD, enter. Oh. Yeah, so if you forgot your password, yeah. So if this happened to someone that had too many fingerprints recorded, oh man, I don't want to be that person. So anyways, yeah. So I'll kind of leave you on this. Not a big fan of the new Mac computers. They've become things that are beautifully designed, but they're kind of toys. If you're a hacker, if you're a security researcher, if you're somebody who cares about privacy, if you're a developer, if you like Linux, well, take good care of your older computers, because really this computer is amazing. It has all kinds of ports, it's hackable, it's fixable, I can open it, not all parts are soldered to the same motherboard. Yeah, so take good care of them, because they don't make them like that no more. Okay, I'll see you next time.